Hello, guys. We are welcome to the second day, and today is like I've sent to some of the pages. Today is gonna be practicals, and without further ado, let us just jump into it. So the what we are seeing now on the screen is our 3ds max interface. 3ds Max is a software that is used for creating models, detailed, you model 3Ds, and then you can create a visualization out of them. It's used by 3D artists, used by interior designers, used by architects, used by engineers, just to visualize and to get to see how their project turns out. So today we are going to look into how the interface operates and just a summary of that. In the full class, we'll go into the details of what 3D Max is all about. So 3D Max, once you open it, this is the first thing you are going to see, and you see four screens, four parts. So that this represents the top. So as you're working, you'll be able to see the top, the front, and the left side, and the perspective. So as you're working, you'll be able to see the top, the front, the left, and the perspective of what you're doing. And if you do not get to see this as probably the first start of your 3ds Max, just come to this place. You can change or choose whatever you want. So this is presently what we're using, and this is what I prefer this the most, so it's okay by default. So it's okay for me. So now what do we need to do for the sake of this class? We wouldn't be able to go through all these details here, but obviously this is the workspace, and let's quickly go to our Corona. Like I said, I've told us that we'll be needing to install our Corona. I use Corona version 9. You can use Corona version 8. It depends on you can use even higher version, but I think it's best we are on the same page. So Corona version 9 and 8 are almost the same. They are even the same. So I don't really know what they don't really have much of a difference. So that it's good for us to go. So this is the two bar for Corona. Once we install it, you see these two bars. This first one is to create camera. You can create a Corona camera by just clicking on it, and it creates you a camera that is Corona compatible. And so before I continue, let's see what Corona is. Corona is not coronavirus, but this is a Corona renderer. You use it to generate photorealistic visualization. It looks, it will help your image, your 3D model, to come out as a real image. So that's what Corona is, not coronavirus. So this is you can use this to create a Corona camera from a particular view that you so desire and you like. So you can just want to press that on that view. It creates a Corona camera to assume that view already. So for instance, now we're on the top view. I can just decide, for instance, let's say I want to take a plan view of a space. I can just select, and I like this view. I will just create this. You can see it appeared just that way. So that's exactly how this works. Let me delete it because we don't really need to do that now. So this is Corona light. You have different lights. We have omni light, we have rectangle light, you have the spherical light, you have the spotlight. So these are basically where you get the options to choose which lights you want to use, and these lights are Corona compatible. When I mean Corona compatible, the reason why Corona has their own toolbars is because everything is simulated according to the calculations of Corona renderer. So this works perfectly for Corona calculations. So if you use another camera and bring it into Corona, you may have some glitches, but because it's not of the same calculations, so there's a way Corona has actually designed their software that it calculates and simulates the real lighting situation, real environment situation, so that it will generate a realistic view for you. So this is light. So this is for your Corona sun. So this imitates the real life sun. So you can also see the settings. And we have the Corona proxy. You can, if you have an object that is very heavy, has a lot of polygons in it, it will be very heavy for your system or computer. You can just create Corona proxy. You can turn them to lesser polygon models by just clicking on this and tweaking it from this space. So this is Corona decal. You can use it to create like a layer of texture. So that's an advanced level of training, which some of us will get to it in the full interior design and visualization class. This is a unified Corona lister. It will generate the list of your Corona components. Then this will open Corona proxy exporter, so you can bring in proxies and export proxies from your scene. Here we have the Corona converter. In case you're bringing in a V-Ray textured object, you can convert to Corona texture with this Corona converter, and also it works for some other textured objects as well that are coming from an interface or a renderer that is not Corona. So you can just convert the texture, and then it converts them somehow to be compatible with Corona. This is it opens you up to Corona material library. While you were installing, some of us, you will see where it tells you to download Corona material library up to like 5.2 gig. This is very important. I told some of my students, I said it's very important you download them because it will make your life very easy with Corona. So here, as we move forward, you will see how magical this can turn. Then this is Corona Cosmos browser. This is another magical tool that has been introduced in Corona 6 or so, or Corona 8. I think Corona 8. So we have this browser. You have to log in. You have to sign in. Once you sign in, it has bunch of components, bunch of 3D objects where you can get your cars, your people, shrubs, trees, very realistic components. So you don't have to worry yourself about where to run to, which sites. But sometimes, in some cases, you still have to run to those sites because they are, there's no way. These are limited. You can still go ahead and get some other things and even buy. So this is Corona interactive light mix setup. You can set up lighting. This is also advanced lighting setup. This is Corona VFP, like as in V-Ray. This is it will open you up to the interface where you interact with what is rendering, and you can also do some post-processing there. Then this is interactive rendering. Let's say you're modeling and then you feel like, oh, let me quickly see what I'm rendering. But mind you, you need to be careful because as you turn it on, it's going to start rendering in real time. So that means real time means as you're working, whatever changes you are doing, it's implementing them immediately, and you're seeing the effect as real as possible. So you need to take note of the kind of computer you are using. So some computer will just crash because it doesn't have that power to render in real time. So just know, if you have 4 gig graphics card, if you have 6 gig RAM, I think it's very cool. If you have even 4 gig RAM and you have 4 gig graphics card, like I've said, you should be able to run it without a problem. But make sure you set your resolution as low as possible so that you don't get too much load. You're going to get your system slowed down. So this is this starts interactive rendering in an active viewport. So let's say like I said, we have these viewports, 4 of them. Anyone you have, so you can just set, you can choose to set an interactive interactive rendering for this viewport that is active. So it's only limited to this viewport. You see your rendering space here instead of it coming out as it would have come out in the VFB. Let me show you how the VFB will show to you. Once you click on VFB, this is how it is. So it brings out another interactive space where you can do a lot with and you can also view what is rendering, and you can still tweak some other parameters here. So but as for the interactive rendering in active viewports, this will not come out as this. It will rather start the interactive rendering in this viewport, and you won't be able to do more than just to view what is rendering. Then this is this is not part. This will not come with your with your Corona, but in the full class you will have access to this. It's a plugin to relink your bitmap. So in the full interior design and visualization class, we'll have access to this. So this is if you want to resume last render, let's say you were rendering and then you can post render, and then you post the render, and then you want to resume what you were rendering. So this is a tool where you can use to resume your last rendering. So now we want to move to the general Corona settings. So as let's say you just installed and then you've opened your interface. So the first thing we want to do is to go to rendering, click on rendering. Under rendering, go to render setup. You can also press F10 to bring this up, or you can click on this. So it's 3 ways now. You can go to rendering, render setup, press F10, or go to this icon here. It brings this up the same interactive box. So interactive box here, this is where you have to set. So please, this is very important. Go just be careful so that whatever I'm doing, whatever I do, yours will also come out that way. So if you set this and you follow everything I'm doing, you won't have issues at all. So this target here, make sure it is set at production rendering mode. This, you see lots and lots, but production rendering mode, this is what you want to set it at. So this, don't touch this. Then this also, since you've installed Corona, we have lots and lots of renderer. So but you have to specify which you want to render your work. So I have specified Corona, and you should specify Corona as well. This also view to render, don't touch this at all. So first thing we want to do is to go to common. This is common here. You see different aspects here at this space. Go to common, and then on this space here, these are the things I will change here. Let's go downwards and then make sure that our assigned renderer is Corona. Automatically you should have your Corona version here. So if it's Corona 8, you have Corona 8. If it's Corona 9, you have it. And then because you've set this to Corona, so it will just get all this ready for you. Then don't just touch this. But once you've set all this, and make sure it's like mine, like this, just save as default, so that you don't have to come back over and over to do that anytime you come online to use you come up to use your software. So just save as default, and then you are sure that these things will not change. And if it changes, you have this video, you can always come back and watch and rewatch again. So that's about what we have to set at first when you open up your Corona renderer. Now let's move to the next thing, which is how to briefly create basic shapes. We'll not be going to the details, because if you want to really learn the details of how to create your models on 3dsmax, just try and register for the full course which the registration will open up immediately after the class today. So in that class, we go through the details of this 3D modeling on 3dsmax. But for now, for the sake of this class, we just jump into some basic shapes that you can easily create with 3dsmax. So let's jump into it. In order to focus on any viewports, like I said, these are viewports, different viewports. Just press Alt W. Alt W would maximize that viewport for you, so you'll be able to concentrate on that viewport. So let's press our Alt W. So now I'm on perspective view, and I want to just focus on that so that I can create what I wanted to create. So to create any shape here, we have this at this right corner here. Right. Okay. So this are the geometries. If you click on that, you'll see box, sphere, cylinder, torus, teapot, text plus, cone, and all. So these are basic shapes that you can easily create on 3dsmax. So let's check out what box will do for you. So your box would just click, hold, and drag. So as you click and drag, you see by that same right corner, you see some parameters are paired. So don't worry, you just click again and drop. So in order to, you can edit your parameters here. You have the length as you drag, or you can double click in to type in what you want, 600 mm, and the width here, you can also change that also to 600 mm or whatever you want to do. This height, can change that to 3 meters, that's 3000 mm, and then you have what you want, and this seems to, let's say 600 as well, so that you can have a cubic form. So after this, once you escape that, you see the parameters will go off. So do not panic. You can always come here to this side here, modify, and then you see your parameters here. So you can set your segments, and segments are divisions you have on a surface. So that's just that about box. Let's go on to create. You see what sphere is like. So our sphere, this is what sphere is, and there is something about 3dsmax I would like to show you. So you can set your coordinates here. This is y, x, y, z. You know how that works. So you can set your coordinates if you want to specifically locate your model somewhere. I wanted to tell you something the other time. Okay, I've remembered. So now let's see some. You can have your view differently. The view of your models differently depending on what you want. So let's say you want to see the lines, you want to see the details of what your model is about. Just press F3. So if you have F3, you see the wireframe. Sorry, this is called wireframe view. So you can see the lines that forms the whole shape together. Every shape is formed by geometry. So we have each of these geometries forming up this sphere. So that's a view. This is another view. If you want to view the rendered mode, it's called like rendered mode plus these wireframes. So you press F4. So F4 plus whatever view you are in. If you press F3 again, you see the rendered view or the default shading. Then if you press F4, you will see the wireframe overlaid on your view. So that's just I love this view a lot because it helps me to see the lines that makes up my work. So, and I can make divisions also with this view because I'll know what I'm actually dealing with in full. So that's just that about the sphere, and this is also applicable to any other model that will create. This is cylinder as well. You can create, you click and drag, then you drag again to the direction you want it to, whether up or down, Then after that, you can change. You can see, because we are on the F4 mode, this segment is 5 here, and you can see the segment, the high segment, we have 1 2 3 4 5. So it's divided into 5, 1 2 3 4 5. So you can change it or increase it. You can decrease or increase. So let's say I don't want it to be that much, I can just decrease that, or I don't want at all, I can just decrease that as well. So we have the sides as well. So these are so these sides, the more your side, the smoother your circumference, or your will look like. So that's that. And then imagine you set it to 2, so it's or 3. It's, I think that's the lowest you can set it for. So this is a triangle already. So these are lines that form, that creates that illusion that you have a cylinder. So that's that. And then let's move to torus. I won't really explain much about this. So this is just to briefly show you what. So this is, you can toggle on the parameters there. You can use this, to create lots and lots of things. Maybe you want to create some accessories on your scene. Let's say you want to create a frame, a circular frame to your circular mirror. Different things you can just think of. So you can be creative with this, and then tweak the parameters, radius 1, radius 2, different things, the segments and all. So this are just, like I said, for the sake of this video of this class, we just go through the brief explanation of that. So the teapot teapots, you have, like the name implies, this is teapot. You can quickly use that. So you can toggle on, off, undo, whatever you want, delete, you can remove it. And these are just you can increase the radius, the segments, and the like. So these are basically just you creating text plus. You can create 3D text. You can extrude, width, region, and size. You can just play with whatever you want to. Let's say pro design, and you see it changed to pro design. And you want to you can just do whatever you want to with this, which is very nice, and it's handy for you to use. This is that about text plus cone. I think we are familiar with this. You can create cone, and we can come here. Once you create that, you let's create it again. You can create our cone by clicking, dragging the direction. We click because we need to specify the radius of the top as well. Then you click, you drag again, and then once that is done, you can still amend from here. You can amend from here, whatever you want, the height. This is what you want, and it goes like that. It's as simple as that. Then geosphere is also, this does not have a regular polygon. It also can come in handy if you want. Tube, you can create tube. This is just these are just basic tools. But pyramid, plane, this is plane. You can quickly use this to create your floor. So, and you can, this is a segment, division of the surface. Like I said, this, the more the segment numbers, the more you have the ability to use it to create like an organic shaped form, or an organic. The more the segment numbers, the more the ability it will be able to form an organic shape. So that's that. So basically we have the basic tools, basic shapes that are already on on 3dsmax by default. And here we have the 2ds, the line. Can draw lines, hold your shift and make it straight, like that and like that, and press escape, and then you have the line drawn just like that. You have circle, you have arc, we have gun, that's like polygon, text, egg, freehand, rectangle, ellipse, donut, star, helix, section. So these are just what you will see when you open up 3dsmax, and then sometimes they make you feel overwhelmed, and then you like, what where do I go, what do I press? No, just keep calm. So this interface, like I said, when you want to return to the four views, just hold on to Alt W again. You get back to that and you see them again. So this lower part here is this is video parts. This is where you run your frames for video or animation. This is isolating selection. If you want to isolate a selection, you can lock selection, lock toggle. You can lock a selection, and if you don't want it to be selectable, you can just lock it. Then this is absolute transform. In the full class, we'll go into detail of all these things. So these are auto key, select, these are zoom region and the like, span and the like. So these are the view toolbars here. So basically, I think you should be good to go with this interface. So don't be scared. You have the move, the select and move, the rotate, the select object, select by name. Just try to go through this and see for yourself. You can play with them and you see what it is. So that's that about creating basic shapes on 3dsmax. Now we want to create some materials, and then would see how you can create your own material. Some of the few materials that we'll just create for the sake of this class. In the full class, we would have tons of materials that so that you'll be able to freely create your own material, like metal, like plastics, glass, and all. So now we'll just go through the basic materials and the ones that are already available on 3dsmax, how you can apply it to your objects in the scene. So now we have this. I just created this simple scene for us to be able to get the explanation of what I'm explaining. So if you want to bring up your material editor up, you can just press M as in mango, M on your keyboard, and then this comes up. So this is the place where you have to set up everything, and you set up your material, your texture, how shiny, how glossy you want it to be, how reflective you want it to be. So basically we'll just create like 3 more materials, and we'll get some in the material library. So the first material I would like us to create is, okay, let's see how the scene looks first without this material. The only thing I have on this scene is the floor. I've already applied material to the floor. Let me show you how I applied the material. Let me return this to normal. Let me just you select what you want to apply material on. I'm on the camera scene that I've already set. I've set this camera 1. So I want to apply material to this plane that is here as my floor, wooden floor. Let me return. This is what I have before, as by default, but I want to assign a material to it. This is where I dragged my texture from. So you can click on this on your Corona toolbar, you will see the open Corona material library. Once you click on that, you have tons of material for you ready to use for you. Very realistic material. And we have them here. So where I just went is the flooring. I want to just create a floor here that is wooden. I just drag this. So you just drag in order to you drag to one of these sphere or wherever you want it to be, like just drag, and then it comes up. So this is what I have here. So if you want to return to the default, just drag from the default and just replaces it. So here I have this and I want to just assign it here. So in order for you to get the actual actual scale of this texture on your object, there are few things you need to do. Let me just apply this. So if you click on any object, you come to the modify tab, you will see the object here and the name. You can change the name. I can change it to floor, and then that's my floor. And then you have the plane here, you have the parameters here for it. So I want to apply this texture and I want it to be correctly mapped. So this is what I'll do. Let me close this up and then let me apply this. So you have here assign material to selection. You've already selected it, just assign it to it. So assign material to selection, but you see that it's like blurry because the texture is very large compared to the scale of what we have here. So let me render and see what let's see what you have. I have, for your information, I have the HDRI already in place. I've set it up, so we won't go into that now. We'll still see to that later. So I want to just check up what my render looks like. Interactive render. So you start interactive render. That's what I said earlier on. This is where you start interactive rendering. And once I click on that, you see this is not looking like a floor like a floor that I like. You can see this. I don't know, maybe this looks like it doesn't. So it's not looking like anything that I am familiar with, but all I'm seeing is this bush here representing my HDRI. It looks cool, and these are also without texture. This plane here, this space, they are without texture, but this floor is what I don't know. So let us change it to what we like. So in order to set this, like I said, this is real time. Whatever I do here is happening live with my rendering. If I drag this, it's happening live. So that's what we call real time. So let me undo, Control Z, and then it goes back to where it should be. Now I want, like I said, one click or two clicks. Don't let me just so with 2 clicks you can make this come to how it was mapped, how it was meant to be mapped by Corona creators. When they created this material library, they have what you should apply to make it look like what they have in mind for your scenes. So now what you would do is to map it. How do you map? Go to, let me stop this. Always make sure you run this according to the your system, your PC capacity, or else. So this, you can see this is 404 by 505, just for me to have a smooth running of my interactive rendering. So let me go to modifiers. So for mapping, go to modifiers. Here you go to UV coordinates. So make sure you select, firstly, the first thing you do is to select the object you want to map correctly. Go to UV coordinates, then UVW map. Just once you click on that, there's still a step more to go. Click on box, then check real world map size. Now for almost all the texture in the material library for Corona, you need to check this real world map size. How do you know whether you need to check this real world map size? So if you check it, it will come automatically as the default mapping and as realistic as possible. So let me check, start interactive rendering here. Can you see? So this is looking like a floor that I know now, not some random pixelated floor that we were seeing before. So this looks realistic now, so I'm happy with this. Let me stop it, and then let's see how you can detect whether you need to check real world map size. Once you drag your material from the material, this material library, into the scene, go to this base layer under color. This is your base layer texture. Then click on it. Once you click on that, go to your base layer again. Once you click on base layer, check this. Go to your top layer, and then you see this, use real world scale. So you are using real world map size. If you see use real world scale checked, and voila, that's all. So the next thing would do is to create a glass. So in order to do that, I like to organize my stuff. This is a place you can name your map. Let's say I want parquet. Let me say parquet floor. So it's just for organizing your work. This HDRI, you can say HDRI 2K, because this is 2K. I downloaded it just to preview what I'm doing now. So this now, I want to create a glass material with just few clicks. Firstly, this is Corona physical material. I don't want that. I click on this. Once you click on that, come to Corona. Under Corona, click Corona legacy material. So once you click that, click OK. So this will change to the parameters of Corona legacy material. So with just 2 clicks, you have your glass already created. Let me name this glass. So change this level for reflection to 1, and change this level for refraction to 1, and click on thin glass for your windows. For if you want to simulate a thin glass, you check this, but if you don't have to check it. So let's apply to that and see what it looks like. So let's start interactive rendering to see what it's like. So you see it's looking like it's no longer there, but if we check very well, if I move this, you see that it's like something is moving, but we can make it look more visible by increasing our Fresnel IOR. Maybe, can you see? So it's having more it's shining the more now, so we can see our glass. Sometimes you want to create railing, glass railing, and voila. So can you see? Let me make it bolder for us to see. Can we see our glass? And then we have reflections, and that's just how to make our glass texture. Let me close that. So if you want to change the tint of our glass, go to volumetric SSS. You can change the tint of our glass from here to whatever color you want. Let's say I want blue here, and I raise this up to, and then let me raise this to 10. So let me bring it to 100. So we have our tinted glass here. So that's that about creating glass. Then let's create a metal. The same thing. I like going to using Corona legacy material. It's very nice. So the first thing for this, let's create plastic. Let's set it to the color here to like gray, then reflection to 1, then glossiness to 0.85. So we have our plastic looking texture. Let's apply to one of our sphere here, and let's render. Let me change the color to red, something catchy, like orange. So can we see here we have our orange texture here. So let's see our aluminum texture. We want to create another. So what do? I go to Corona Legacy and change this to gray and your reflection 1. Then this you use 999, and your anisotropy is that like that blurry line, that it's like that blurry horizontal or vertical line that's created by illusion with metallic objects. So we have this. I can make this look blurry, 0.9. Let's apply to this, and let's see, and boom, we have our aluminum, shining aluminum texture here. So what other things should we create? Let's just create a black. Let's say, okay, this is looking okay. Let's create another metal the same way, just the same way. So you can tweak these parameters. You can make your sheen not too much. Let's use 50 instead of what we have. Let's use 50 so that it doesn't shine too much. And let's use another color. Another color, for our texture, 0.85. Then let's use our anisotropy also, and okay, let's assign to this, and let's see what we have here. We have this. So the color here, reflection color, we can tweak the color to create a tint. Can you see? So this is looking good, and that's, let's see, on our material list we can still play with some. So metals are here as well. We can drag like we did the other time as well. We can drag, and all this plain texture does not really need any mapping because they're just colors, not textures from external files. So if I change this to this, let's see what we have. Can we see what we have here? This is looking great, and so this is just about how to create texture simply. One other thing before we leave this scene is, for instance, sometimes I like to play with my glass, especially when I'm designing for bedroom, the showers, the shower place. You can have a blurry glass. So this is what you do to do that. It's just like you are reducing the glossiness of that glass. So let's see how this glass looks like now. If I set this to 0.8, this is the glossiness. Let's see our interactive render. It's having a blurry effect already on the spheres behind. Let's have 0.5. Can we see? So it's blurring it out. So let me change it back to 0.8. So it has created a blurry effect. Can you see this? Can you see? Let me bring this up for you to see it clearly. Can you see this? So this is very cool, guys. It's very cool. You can create a blurry effect. Probably you have an object that you just want to create like a cool effect around or behind your glass. Cool. So now we have seen how to create some basic material for our scenes. Guys, we've come to the very important part where I know we all have been waiting for. So we want to create our own realistic rendering now. So like we've said, so I've just opened this interface of 3dsmax, and I'm going to show you how you also would create yours, because at the end of this class you can always check the link below. You see you get an access to this file, so you can create yours as well, and whatever files that you need to still get, you get it in the link below. So let's continue. Like I said, I'll press alternate W in order to focus on the perspective view. I want to import, and also once you are in any view, you can toggle through other views by, for instance, I'm on perspective. I want to change to top. Just press T on your T as in table on your keyboard. Then it brings you to your top view. Then if I want to go to left, all you just need to press is L as in left. And then it's on the left now. If you want to go to front, all you need to press is F as in front, and that's all. So if you want to go back to perspective, you just need to press P, that's as in perspective. So now I want to import the files that I have. I created these files in SketchUp. If you register for the full interior design class, you get to know how to create your base files from SketchUp, then we'll import to 3dsmax. So now I've already created all these things, and some of them I downloaded, some of them on some websites. I downloaded some from different places. So at the end of the class, I will still give you some links to some 3D blocks so you can get it. But if you register for the full class, you get more links. There are several links, there are amazing links there where you can get your blocks from. But I created this space which is a bedroom space, and I'm going to show you how to import. So if you want to import, I've already saved what I created on SketchUp as a 3dsmax, so you don't have to worry. All you just need to do is to merge. If you are importing a 3dsmax file, you need to merge. Go to File, Import, then Merge. If it is a 3dsmax file, you need to merge. Then if it's a SketchUp file, you need to import. You need to press import to import a SketchUp file. And if that file is saved above 2018 version or 2015 version, it might have issues with 3dsmax. So you need to down save whatever file you are bringing into 3dsmax to like about 2015 version for it to work well on 3dsmax. So since I've already gone through that stress for you guys, so you can just merge everything in this folder. So I'm merging now. So once you click on merge, it will ask where you want to go. So I've created this in the folder, and then we have exercise folder for you to also do yours after this class. So now I have all this. So the first thing I'm bringing in is the bedroom space. I've named it, so I'll just click on it, then open. So it's asking me which one I want to import. I'm clicking on this, then hold shift to select the two. I'm importing everything, then okay. So it may take a while, but it will import based on how large the file is. So this is that. So I would urge you not to change the coordinate of anything, so because I've set the coordinate so that you won't have to struggle. Once it lands, it will land at their respective right places, so don't worry about it. It's just for you to see some basic things about how to render, and how you two can partake in this class. So in order to view around your your object, you hold the scroll button of your mouse. So you need a mouse. You need to hold the scroll button of your mouse down, then you press alt as alternate, the alternate key, then you drag. So as you orbit round, you can see roundabout. So by holding your scroll button, then alt button, and orbit. So if you want to zoom in, just scroll your scroll button, just scroll in and out, then you can zoom in. If you want to pan, just hold down your scroll button, just hold it down, and then you can pan to up, right, left, center. So that's that. So this is what we're going to be working with. So this is the basic room that I've created, and you can play with yours, you can rearrange whatever, but I want you to just follow this and create this exact thing first, then you can rearrange yours as well. So let me import the other components as well. So I like to go to top view. Then in my top view, I can see all this. So it's because you can see all these lines, it's because it was imported from SketchUp. So if I had modeled all this on 3dsmax, it shouldn't have all these things, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter at all. It won't change anything in your model or your rendering. So let's import some other files. I want to import the bed now. We'll go to import, merge, because they are all. So I want to import the bed. So it reviews here, you can see, open. Like I told you, don't change the coordinate, don't move it. It will land exactly where I've set them, so it will land there. So it will take a while. So now we have it. We have our bed positioned where exactly I've placed it. Please feel free, if you know how to, if you are experienced in 3D Max or design, you can feel free to move and play with these things. They are not it's not compulsory that it must be the same way I've done mine, but at least let's produce and follow along what I've done. So I want to import, let me go to perspective. So if you're on perspective, like we said, so we can go in here and we can view our field of view. You can toggle field of view here so that you can see better. So I want to see all I'm bringing in one after the other. So we have the bed, and the next thing we are bringing in is our bedside storage. So we have them open. So I'll check it. Okay, so this brings this up. So just close, and then you have it positioned there. So the next thing we'll do is to import some others. So let me just merge. I want to bring in my carpet. Okay, so in some cases you have while importing, you have this dialog box here, and stating that a material name assigned to a margin object is a duplicate of a material in the scene. Do you want to, so it's just options. If you want to use merged material, probably you want to merge the materials. You want to use C materials. What I do in this case is just to press auto rename merged material, so it renames it automatically. Now we have everything imported now. So what do we do about this? So this is where it gets interesting. So the first thing we do, I would like us to do is that I usually do is to set my scene, the camera. So where do I go? I go to top view. So once you press T as in top, T on your keyboard, it takes you to the top view. Then I can go to my create Corona camera, or come here to camera then create Corona Cam. So you can click that. Then the first view I want to create is I want to view from here. So this is where you need to take a moment and think. In order to make your scene very interesting, you need to have a focus. What do you want the viewers to look into? What do you want them to see while viewing your scene? What do you want to make them see first? What are the important features in your scene? So I want them to see this this space is from the bed, from this end of the bed, and I want them to have a feeling of the closet. Yeah, so my main focus is not really the bed per se for the first scene. So let me create this camera here and let's do that. So what do? I clicked on Corona Cam and then click and drag and make sure it's straighten enough. Just straighten it enough, like it's okay for me like that. Then this is the move tool. Once you click on that, like I said earlier, you can go to the modify tab. You will see the parameters here. So what you need to do now, once you've created this Corona, automatically it creates a Corona camera here for you, Corona camera 001. So you can rename it, but let me just leave it like that. So once I click on this camera part, not here, not here, not here. If you click on this part and press C as in camera, C A B C C on the keyboard, it will take you directly to the scene that you've created. So but this is what we've created. I don't really understand what this is. So now you have to hold your scroll button and drag up. So can you see the view that you've created? It's still looking it's wireframe now. So like I said earlier on, just press F3. Now this is happening because our camera is actually outside the wall. So how do I do that? Let me go back to the 4 views. That's Alt W. Now let me set my camera view is here, it's set here. So this camera 001 set here. I can go to the top view anywhere. Let me go to the top view here. So see what is happening. You see what is changing here as I bring this up with the move tool. You can drag. Can you see? So it's taking me directly into the room, but there's something still wrong. The whole space is, it's filling up the whole scene, which I don't want. What I want is actually to create a scene that will capture almost everything in the room, but the focus is actually looking towards the closet. So how do I do that? I click on this camera, then come to the, or I select it from here. Here you see the list of what you have in the scene. This camera 01. Then by default you see it toggling up the details here. So I go to focal length. Then I change it so the lesser the value is, the wider the angle becomes, the field of view becomes. So we have this and that. So but now this is not the scene resolution that I want, not the size of my scene that I want. This is what I usually set, and I recommend you send it, because when you send it to Instagram anyway, this is actually the sizes of images that fits into your social media handle. So go to render setup, and under common, change this to this image aspect ratio to 0.8. Then that's for now. Then make sure your resolution is enough. It's okay for your PC to run. This is okay for my PC. You can undo interactive renderings of this size, which is okay. So okay, we can close. Then nothing changed, right? Let me alt W. So nothing changed. In order to bring the frame up, we need to press Shift F as in frame, Shift F. So this is the resolution that I usually set for my renderings. So now, in order to toggle through what I have here, you can come here and use dolly camera. Your dolly camera will go front and back, and then you can also hold your scroll button and pan, left and right, up and down, so to see. But professionally, it's not really good to be panning up and down, left and right when you are in a camera mode. What you can do is just go to your camera and go down here. Then you see tilt and shift. So shift, you can just shift, this is more professional. And then don't touch this. This is horizontal, and then vertical shift, which is cool. Now what next do we do? I still don't like the field of view that I'm getting here, so now this is looking like it's deforming the image, and I don't like that. There is another option for me in order to capture this scene as bold as this, but yet looking from a farther place. So let me go back to Alt W and go back to the top view. So we have a camera here. Let me just click on it, and let me bring it out. Don't worry about what is happening. Click on it, then go to environment and clipping. This is you want to have this, especially when you're working with a very tight space. So you want to have this checked, enable. Then you want to be able to view it in viewport. Then near is, I want it to be about 1 meters show in viewport. Then you see it. It's still not no, but I can bring. Can you see? So now it's disregarding all these spaces. Then it's like the camera is starting its view from here. So that's what this environment and clipping does. So now I have what looks like okay to me, because that is okay to me. So I need to bring it downwards a bit. So now this brings us to the composition rules. Now let me building this up. So we are here now, and then this is what we have, which looks so good. Composition rules. Okay, in the folder that I will send, you will see this composition helper. It is very good, and it will be good for you. So all you need to do is just, it's like a plugin or a script for 3dsmax for you. So just drag into your scene, and voila, you have it. So it's overlaid here, so you can check whatever you want. So these are some of the very popular composition rules. We have the rule of thoughts. So this is the rule of thought. The rule of thought says that you divide your scene into 9 parts, and then you fit very important aspects of your scene into at least one of the intersection planes, intersected lines of these 9 of these divisions. So very important parts of this scene, any interesting part of it, and if you don't have it, it's not a problem. You can just have another rules, which is I can have the diagonals. In diagonals, you can centralize your scene and make it look centered. So these are just what you can use. Center cross. Let me use center cross. Yeah, so I like this center cross, is looking nice for me. So I can centralize my frame here at the middle here, and also the bed seam centralized. So these are some of the rules. I will show you in details now. These are some of the rules that are popular. I will just touch on some of the rules. Now we have the rule of thoughts. The rule of thoughts places, the rule of third in design is an essential rules to be followed for a flawless composition. In this rule, the frame is equally divided into 9 rectangles, 3 across and 3 down, like I've actually showed us. And also, so you put this, you can also put it in place like imaginarily. You can imagine it and put it in place. If you use a camera, you see there's a place where you have it toggled on and off, and you can use that as well. So leading lines, so we have leading lines, we have, see this image now, we have lines leading to a particular important object here, or a particular important view here. So you can lead the view of your audiences to a particular scene that you consider very interesting for them to see. For instance, if I'm looking at this picture, what I'm saying, the first thing I'm saying is, oh, where is this line leading to? And oh, I'm seeing this, and it's very cool. It's a very cool composition. This is centered composition. This is exactly what I'm using here now. Like the center cross. It's very cool. Forming, you can have it form a symmetry, so which is good, like in the case of this image. This is another one. You have patterns and repetitions. Then this is balance elements in the scene. Sometimes when you have a particular scene, and you have to just put some elements that are not really that important, but you just want them to like fill up the frame at like nearer to the camera, which is something like this out here, and then we can see the main building here. So it's cool. And this is golden triangle. This is also very cool, but it's advanced, and this is a very old composition rules. It's golden ratio. It's when you have a lot in the scene, but you still want your audience to have a feel of a focus. So just look at these two people here. This is what golden rule, so the ratio does. So this where you put something interesting here, and also here there's something interesting, which is the window. Then the rest here also, this is the stair and the hallway. So in a way, you are leading your audiences to see a lot within a scene. So you are leading them to capture different story within a scene. This is someone sitting down. This is a hallway. You can enter into the building. Then this is a bed, a window here. So and lots of them like that. So let's go back to our scene. So now I've established this. This is a nice view for me. When you're creating your scene, make sure you don't cut out your objects too much. If you consider an object not important, or you want it not to be in the scene, you can cut a larger part of it, but not leaving it halfway in the scene. It's confusing. The audience will be like, okay, I want to see what's this, but you can leave. For instance, if I don't want this bed storage to be shown, I can just let me use my dolly camera. I can just cut it a bit, and leave this part here. This looks not confusing here, but in a case where I leave this, for instance, like this, left to be so curious of what is left here, so which is not too good. It's not too good. So this is, I'm okay with this. So let me remove the center cross, and let us set the lighting of our scene. I'll go and bring up my material editor, which is this this material editor, or press M. Let me bring it up, and by default you should have something like this. So what I'll do is to convert. You see, open Corona converter, then you convert, click on it. Then you want to check this for, then you want to check this and check everything. This first thing here, check it and convert to Corona legacy, then convert. So it will convert everything to Corona compatible spheres. So it's still converting. Now it's done, and we have it like this. And in order to bring up lighting, I've already textured almost everything here. I've textured everything, so don't do yourself any stress to texture. But if you want to change some texture, what you need to do is you can just click on the object you want to change the texture, or you use the pick material, click on whatever sphere, then if you pick this material texture, you can edit it and toggle it to whatever you want. But as it is now, let me just replace back with what I have. So let me open, as I'm opening my material editor here, I'm opening my render setup here as well. So these are things that we are familiar with. Now I'll go to the scene. Now under my scene, let me increase this. Under my scene, I will see single map, 3dsmax settings, environmental tab. So this is what we will use now. We'll use 3dsmax settings, environmental tab. Then single map. We use single map. Check single map. Then here you want to click on this. Then before we do that, cancel. This is none, but you have this white color here. That means by default you have white. Your lighting will be simulated with this texture, which is white color. So let's see what it is. Before we do that, let me go to 3dsmax settings, environment. We'll see the difference now. Let me go to interactive rendering. Don't worry if this brings this message, don't worry about it, please. So you can see now we have a very dark environment because we don't have anything in the environment. We don't have any sun. We don't have it. Everything is just dark. So the only thing that we are seeing are the lights that I've included in the scene. So now let's see for our single map with just white color. Nothing. Okay, so now we just white color. See white outside here. You can see, so it is the white that Corona will use, that white color to lighten up our scene, which is not bad for some scenes. If you are doing some scenes that you don't have to view through the window, you can just use this and then you're good to go. But here no, we don't want that. Stop. And then the next thing we will use is actually to use our HDRI map. So I'll go to none here, go to maps, then go to under Corona, go to color, Corona color correct, and this is it here. So you need to drag into one of the sphere instance, then you can name it as HDRI, then enter. This input here, click on Corona bitmap and press OK. So it will take you to your file. So we have here inside our exercises scene, and here we have this. Can bring that in, just click OK, and let's see what we have now. So it uses this now to lighten up our scene, not that color again. Can we see what we have now? So we are seeing a very realistic environment out there, which is looking very cool. Let me zoom in so that we can all see what we have. So we can all see what we have. So it's still looking dark, and this is where we go to the post here. This is the VFB, and then we can come to the post here and come to the tone mapping. This tone mapping, the simple exposure, just let's bring it up to about 1. I think this is looking okay. 1.2. This is fine. Then let's add a loot. That's lookup table. Where do you have that? Here. And let's check it. can we see already it's bringing our scene, making it look so beautiful, so beautiful already. And we can come to this arrow at the front here and check and see different versions that are available of the lot here. So this is the first one. I usually I like this. So this looks cinematic. I like it. So you can toggle it down a bit or turn it down, and you can choose to use anything you want, any of them that you feel is cool for you. And you can see this is this can be cool to you and it's looking cool to me. So you can actually use, you are free to use whatever you want. I like this. So now, apart from that, we can also toggle the saturation down. One other thing I always like to turn on is the bloom and glare. So this gives glare to your scene. Can you see this is already bringing glare up, bloom. This is already bringing bloom up, and we can see this scene as I'm zooming in. You can see it's interesting because what I'm directing your eyes to is this amazing yellow color here. It's deliberately put there so as to catch your attention. You want to create an emphasis, so I'm forced to check this out, or this space out. What is happening here? Oh, then I start to see what is going on behind, and it's fascinating what you can create with scenes like this. Also, this sharpening, blurring, denoising, those will you set at the final rendering part. So let's just let's move now to place some lighting effect into the scene so that we can create some mood into the scene. Let me stop this, and we're going back to the top view. Then here I want to create a, so you come here under this plus sign, then you come to lights, then scroll down and see corona, then you see corona light, click on it. Then we want to use a rectangle light here, not fair light. Then once you've selected that, we'll just go and draw, and just draw. Don't worry, just draw your line, your light. Then let's go to front by pressing F. So front, then you see your light here. Click on move and move it up to this space. Then obviously you need to scale it, so we go to scale. Then I'm going to scale to fit here. Then you want to rotate. When you want to rotate, make sure you toggle the snap here, angle snap, so that it snaps to where you are. Can you see? It's telling you. So now I've gotten to 180. It's okay for me. Then you can dress and bring it downwards. I want it to serve as, let me close this, an accent light, not a direct lighting, just like an accent light, just an indirect lighting coming from this space here and looking upwards, and creating some beautiful effects. The same thing applicable to the top. In order to copy or duplicate of any block, all you need to do is left click on that with this move button, then press hold shift before you, then you drag up. So it will ask you if you want it to be copied or instanced. I want it to be a copy, then bring it up here. I've created another niche somewhere here, and then you can rotate as well, and we have that. So in order to set, let's set this. I'm going to my scene, then let's come to this space here. Let's select just lights, then come to modify, then come to curving, so that you can use parameters to change how cool your these details will be taught in the full class. So if you want to know what this means, the full class is there, and then we are all welcome. So let's see what we have now. Interactive render. Can you see what I'm seeing? It is brightening the room too much. Let it come up. Can we see this? Well, I think this is looking cool. This is looking cool to me. So just feel free to do what you want with this. Let me so it's the intensity of this. Let me reduce the intensity of this as well, 20, and let me change it also to 3002. So it altogether creates a mood in the scene. Can we see this tint here on the ceiling? And set the directionality to 0.4 for both lights. 0.4, and that's cool. Now so we have this. This is very cool. So now I'm very satisfied with what I'm seeing here. You can go on and on to give it this side as well. Let me see if I can create a light here. F3, and then you can use the same light we have here. Front, let me select this, go to top, then shift, copy, then let me rotate 90 degrees and bring it here and scale, then move to this corner. You can keep checking what you are doing in respect to the views. You can have this. Let's check what we have. Our scene. So F3 will bring it back to the shaded view. F3, if you press F3 now, it's wireframe. Then F3 will bring it back to. So let's check what we have. Can we see? This is looking very, very bright and elegant. So we have this vibrant interior scene now that you can also create. So this is very cool, and we can go on and on to do what we want. So but now I want to create more scenes. Let's go to the top, and what I'll do is just duplicate Oh, you know what is happening? I'm clicking on things, nothing is clicking actually, because I've changed this here to section filter to light. So it should be in all. If you change it to cameras, you will only be able to select cameras. If you change it to light, you will only be able to select lights. So let me go back to all, and then I'm able to select my camera again. So I'm going to move it and copy by holding shift. I don't want instance, I want copy. Then I will rotate because I want to view from outside 90 degrees. So I can create a view here to view from outside. Then I have to, let me remove this. Okay, I think it's cool. Let me create. If you mistakenly click on something, you can always press undo, Control Z to undo what you've done. So let's see what this thing looks like. Just click on this and press C. So, and if you want to bring up your frame, you can press Shift F. So now F3 would so can you see I'm viewing from outside, which to some of us would be like, why are you viewing from outside? Because I love to view from outside. So I want to open this door, I want to move this door so that it have a feeling. I want to create another scene that is very interesting. Let's go to group. Once you select this, our bedroom here, go to group and open. Once you open, you click on one of the door leaves here and move it right. So I want to centralize it to this center of the bed. Let's see what I want to create. Now I want to go to camera 2 that must have been created. This camera 2 here. So the parameter here, I want to zoom in, then still zooming in. So we have, I want to create like a framing around this, formed by camera 2. Then let's see how this looks. Interactive render. Can we see how interesting this is looking like? We can, I just like this. So we can create more to the framing if you want. So there is another composition rule that is called framing. Framing is when you frame you put an interesting object around your frame, and then like leaves, shrubs, it can be anything, but that wouldn't be the main focus of whoever is doing. It's just framing it. Let's do something like that and see to this view. I like this. So we want to create, maybe we can have more. So just feel free, it's okay. And let's go to this place and press T. So I want to bring a shrub, or a tree or something, it's something to just frame it up. So we go to this, open Cosmos browser. For our quick models, we can always come here. So once we open it, first time it will ask you to sign up. So you need to sign up. I've already signed up, and I've signed in. Rather, you sign in with probably your Gmail, Facebook account, or whatever. So now I have, let's go to downloaded. I've downloaded some. So let me go to vegetation. Let me go to indoor plants. So you feel free to download whatever you wish will be good for you on this thing, but don't overdo it. Just it's still loading. Now we have this. So let me just I've downloaded this. Once you download, you can just import by okay, I like this. Just pressing this, it appears automatically at the 0,0, this center here. Then just bring it to your scene, and in order for me to check what I'm bringing into the scene, I can just press Alt W, and can you see here it's looking too small for framing. I can delete that and bring another in. Let me bring this in. Now I have this. Let me bring it to the front of my camera. Yeah, this is looking nice. It's looking nice. Don't worry about what is looking like, but don't worry, you see what I'm talking about now. So I want to duplicate this, pressing shift, holding shift, then clicking on this to duplicate. Then obviously, you know, you're not let me just rotate till I get what I want to listen to. Okay, so I think it's okay that way. Let me just shift it a bit forward and get out. Let me. All right, so this is basically just trying to frame our scene. Then let's see what happens when we render. So we can see this, it's looking very interesting already. Can you see the natural feel around it, like you are actually peeping from outside in between some leaves, and it's looking nice. So but there's still one more effect that I would like to put here. This is looking too detailed here. I don't want it to be the main focus. Let us just blur it out. This is where it comes to motion blur. So in order to create a motion blur effect on your scene, just select your camera, and it will bring this up. Go down and you see motion blur under DOF, DOF and motion blur. You see depth of field, so click on depth of field, then enable override focus, then click on object. So what object do you want the camera to focus on? So just click on this. I want the camera to focus on my bed. So let me select it because I'm viewing. I want people to see the bed. Once I click on the bed, can you see this is created? So let's go back to the view, see, and then let's, in order to, okay, let's see what happens. Nothing has happened. The reason why nothing has happened is because we've not changed the f-stop. That's we need to change this to 0. No, we need to change this to 4. Sorry. And by changing it to 4, we already see some blurry effects. Okay, let me use 3 so we can see even better. Now we can see it has created this blurry effect, and then it's focusing on the bed, which is very nice. You can see the reflection on the glass. I like that. I like that. So let's do the final rendering of the space. You can choose to set your camera to wherever, and then just have your scene captured, and just feel free to do what you feel it's okay for you. You can rearrange, bring another component, and then it's okay. Sites to there's a site I would like you to visit, and then you want to download or get more components for yourself. Visit cgmood.com. You have lots of free 3ds that are corona ready, that are they are render ready for you. So you have lots of them. Just go to their categories, and then you can bring in stuff for yourself and rearrange the room. You can create amazing composition for yourself. So this is not, see this, and these are going for sale, and you can still get for free as well. Once you toggle the free, you see the ones that are for free. I missed all this, so these are for free. Imagine you having this all to yourself for free, and you can download, I think, 3 times a day. So it's cool. And there are others as well that you can use and then be happy with. Let's go to the render setup so that we can set how you have your final rendering. So if you go and click C now, you can select between all the cameras that you've set. So let's see our final render setup. This is how I get set for my final renderings. I go to common, set your resolution for, it depends on you. For me, make sure you lock this. Make sure this is locked. This image aspect ratio is locked, or else if you don't lock it, if you type whatever here, it distorts your scene, which you don't want to happen. So I will just lock this to 0.8 so that it will be in ratio. So let's say I am using 2:5 for instance. This is locked to this ratio, and I like that. So look closely to what I'm setting here, and then you can also set yours as well. So this here, there's nothing more to set here. It's okay. This scene noise level limit, you can set whatever time you want your render to stop, but I use noise level limit, which I usually use 5%. Once the noise level limit in the scene is 5%, it's going to stop automatically. Then what else? The denoising, I use Intel CPU AI. Then you can set whatever parameter, whatever amount you want to set here. Then here, now we use this for our testing, which now we want to go for final rendering. Click on direct visibly override, reflections override, and refraction, sorry. So, and drag in instance. So for the final, you can choose to use 16K and download 16K HDRI for yourself, but I'm using 2K. So what else? I'm going to camera, nothing to set here. Performance, I don't really do anything here. So the system, with high quality image filter on, your denoiser will not be able to work, so you have to change it to 10th. With 10th, it's okay, nothing is changing, everything is okay for you. And on the render element, you can set light mix, and with this you'll be able to edit all your lights in the scene separately, and even after the rendering. So this is cool. Now we can go and okay, on your common, you can set where you want these files to save. I don't normally do that. I won't lie to you, I don't normally do that, but you can set yours so that once the rendering finishes, it automatically saves to your folder. Then let's click on render. Don't worry about all this, it won't affect. So this is your rendering coming up. So this is the first prepass. Here you can see the statistics here. This is the noise level that we set. So this is the target 5.0, percent, and it's all calculating the total time elapsed for you. So and voila, you have your first rendering here, which is very cool, very cool. So we have okay, and it's rendering. You can see it's cleaning it up bit by bit, and we can almost see what's and how amazing this is going to come out. So your post-production can help you do a lot. You can set your contrast, set different things. Yeah, this is AC's OT. You can turn the contrasts on and up and down, and which is it is cool. So now let's go to, I've already rendered this, so don't let us waste our time. Let us go to the post rendering aspect. So now this is Photoshop, and this is where we do brief post-production, where let's just do a brief one. This is filter. Go to filter. Once you have your opened, just go to filter and go to camera raw filter. It will open up another platform for us. We can see presets here. You see a lot of presets for you to choose from. Let me just choose I think the natural is still okay. Let's go to the edit page here. Then your contrast, you can set contrast depending on what you feel is good for you. Then clarity is okay. Saturation, let me bring it back. The haze, we allow light to come in. Saturation will deepen the colors scheme, and then we have the detail effects. You can bring vignettes. You can create like a lens effect around your scene, which is very okay. You can play with every bit of this, which is cool for you. We have this. Can you see the difference now? Okay, I didn't copy that. All right, so let's go to the next one. I created this scene. You can feel free to create your scene, just moving your cameras anywhere you want. I think I like this space, but the way it is, or you can just go again to camera raw filter, just choose what you would like to do with this. Natural is still okay, because I've set most of these things on the Corona VFP, which is looking cool. Shadow, you can reduce the amount of shadow that is in the scene by just toggling this on and off, which I like this as it is. Then clarity would deepen them by contrast. Then saturation, you can bring it down or like this, which is, I think saturation, what we have before, is okay. And we can also do our effect here and bring our vignetting in here, which is nice and cool. Okay, so we have this set. Then this is my very good scene. I like this scene, and let's play with it as well. And we have this. I think contrasting here will be cool. I think this is fine. Then our basics here can go and talk with this, and our shadow, okay, this is okay. Clarity, I like this. Then saturation, I think is okay. Then our vignetting is this. Can set the roundness. No, cool. and we have our scene here for you to see. So I'm waiting to see what you would create. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what you all will create. I know you can even do better than this. So this is that about what we have, this quick overview of what you can actually achieve, and that is that about that. And so we've come to the end of today's class, and I know a lot of us have gained one of two things from here. We have access to this class anytime, any day. You can always come back to this YouTube channel and feel free to click on it, go back to wherever you feel you are not clear about, whatever you feel you are not clear about. Just go to it. You can slow it down, you can watch it. Just feel free to watch it, and also you'll get to download the files that will be attaching with this. And also whatever you've created, feel free to share and tag me on Instagram, tag me on LinkedIn, tag me on Facebook. I will leave my links to you below, so you can just feel free to tag me. Go to the forum on our website, post it, comment, let people comment like we've talked about yesterday. Let people comment on it, receive feedbacks, let people see. I also have the chance to comment and correct things if need be, and if it's amazing, you also get some accolades in the group, and it will encourage you. So the full interior design and visualization training is opened now, and the registration starts now. It starts today. So only registered students would have access to all the videos that would be available for that. It won't be available here for everyone to watch like these free classes. So make sure you register, contact me. You can visit the website, you can contact me directly to make payments, and once payment is made, you'll be added to an exclusive group where you'll be able to participate in everything and every detail of the course or the training course. The training will take 10 weeks, because what you are going to deal with, you'll be able to do all this by yourself, not just by someone telling you this, that. You'll be able to do that, and you have confidence in what you can do by that time. You'll be able to create very realistic scenes that are and be able to be creative with your scenes. You'll be able to apply principles to every scene that you create. So it's 10 weeks, and so registration commences today, and the full class begins from the 13th of March to the 20th of May 2023. That's about 10 weeks in all to be able to cover a lot of things. In this class, you have access to links that you can get a lot of things. You have access to files, you have access to 3D models, you have access to mentorship programs that are exclusive. So just feel free to contact on the registration procedures, and then you are good to go. Once again, I would like to thank everyone for coming and paying attention all along the classes that we just concluded. So I'll see you in the full training. Thanks, and see you around.